What's up? Today we're going to be doing a little experiment. One half of my face I'm going to take my time on and do it as I would if I had all the time in the world to get ready in the morning. The other half of my face I'm going to be replicating the same exact full face glam look that I do on my left side, and yet on my right side I'm going to spend 20 minutes or less to do it. And the point being, do I really need to spend 15 minutes blending each shade of eyeshadow? Do I really need to spend 15 entire minutes putting on my blush, bronzer, and highlight? How much time do I really need to get a full face of makeup with winged liner and all? That is what this experiment is about. Let's go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to prime my eyes using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I'm just going to take my time to blend that out before I go in and just set it with a loose or pressed powder, I think is what I use, just to set that base down. Then I'm going to go into the Morphe 3502 palette, and I'm going to use the shade in the top left corner, the transition shade called Universal, and I'm going to blow that all through my crease. Then I'm going to take the Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush, and I'm going in with the shade Terra Cotta from the Morphe 3502 palette. I'm going to use that palette for this entire look. And I'm going to start with the light layers and build it up, take my time, make sure I blend out any skippage I might get, just, you know, be extremely exasperating here. Then I'm going to take that Morphe M504 brush. It's like a tiny, tiny blending brush. I'm taking the shade So Warm. It's like a dark, warm, obviously, berry shade, putting that right in my crease. Gonna try and keep it localized to the crease as opposed to getting it as far out as I got the other two, and just taking that what's left on the brush and shaping up the edge of my eye, taking my sweet ass time to blend this out, more perfect than I would even normally do it. Then I'm gonna take this little Cosette brush, and I'm gonna take the brown shade, the one called Toast in the palette, the warm brown shade, and I'm gonna put that directly into the crease, just a super thin line of that. Then I'll go back and blend it after I get the color laid down. Going back in with that Morphe brush, the tiny little blending brush, without putting any extra product on it or anything, just making sure everything is blended to my standards and beyond. Then I'm gonna take that Cosette brush again, and I'm gonna take the black shade in the palette, and I'm putting that right on the outer corner of my eye, shaping it up really well, blending it as best that I can. That black it's not the best blending black in the world, but gonna keep working on it and just take my time with it. I'm using the shade Amber all over my lid, and I'm taking on a Real Techniques shading brush, wetting the brush, try to keep it below the brown, and then just blend out the edges as necessary. Then for the liner, I'm going to take this old gel liner because I'm running out of my other liner, and I ordered a new one and it should be here soon. But yeah, I'm going to take this gel liner and this little Real Techniques liner brush and just go super slow and make sure everything is going to plan. My eyes are kind of hard to do wing liner on because I just have a lot of eyelid and it just bunches up. So it took me 15 minutes to get one of my eyes done, which means it would take me approximately 30 if I were gonna do both of them. And now here we go with foundation. I'm gonna dot it all over my face first, well, half of my face, of course. I'm gonna use the IT Cosmetics CC cream and blend that out with a Real Techniques sculpting brush. Then I'm just gonna keep on building it up until I get the coverage that I want. Then I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender and smooth all over the foundation. So then I'm gonna do concealer. I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, putting it on the high points of my face, anywhere. I'm kind of using it as like a highlighter of sorts, more so than a concealer. Just adding that anywhere on my face where I want it to be brighter. Then I'm taking the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder and gonna set that concealer. All right, so for bronzer, I believe this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I'm going to use a Real Techniques multitask brush, take my time, build in light layers as opposed to just putting a ton of it on and then trying to blend it out. Then I'm taking some blush. I believe this is that Tarte Party blush from last year's birthday gift at Sephora. Gonna make sure that's all blended into my bronzer well before I go in with Wet n Wild. I believe this is the Wet n Wild Precious Petals MegaGlo highlight. So here we are at 10 minutes on base. Took me about 20 minutes. So all told, I've been at this for about 30 minutes. I'm just gonna finish everything up right here. I'm gonna do my lower lash line, of course. Make sure I blend it out, putting that original transition shade on the bottom of my lash line. Then taking a pencil brush and going in with that Toast Brown shade on the outer corner of my lower lash line. I'm gonna blend that inward a bit. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of that black shade on that tiny little Cosette brush and do the same thing. Blend out the edges. Just keep blending, blending, blending until my lower lash line is perfectly and seamlessly diffused. I'm gonna tight line the crap out of my eyes. Be very, very careful about it all. Do my lower waterline as well. Then smudge that lower waterline in with this tiny little e.l.f. concealer brush. Make sure there are no gaps between my waterline and my eyelashes. I'm gonna fix my wing now, of course. Take more of that gel liner, touch up my wing, make sure everything is straight, and do an inner corner highlight using that Wet n Wild Precious Petals. Blending for redundancy. Then I'm gonna do my brow. Brow, singular. I'm gonna do this brow and it's gonna take me 4 years, 35 minutes, exactly. Doing the mascara. This is gonna take me a while because I'm gonna keep screwing up and having to wipe it off because this mascara is new and wet and annoying. 15 years later. For lipstick, I'm gonna use this NYX lipstick in the shade Cold Brew. And I'm just gonna be very careful, take my time with it, make sure I do a good job. I'm gonna overline my lips just a tiny bit. And there we go. So that took me about 30 minutes to finish. If I were to double that, it would take me about 50 minutes because I don't think my other half of my lip would take that much extra time. So about 50 minutes to do half my face with this. So if I were to take my time, it would take me about a little more than an hour and a half to finish this look. Now I'm going to do this side of my face, but I'm not gonna take my time. I'm gonna rush through it, essentially. How much blending really needs to be done when it comes to your blush, bronzer, etc. So let's prime my eyes first. I'm gonna resist the urge to overblend that. I am gonna set it though. Going into the same shadow I used as a transition shade. Already seeing the consequences right now of not blending out that concealer. Right into the next shade I used. I'm just gonna, my goal is gonna be to build the color up to where it needs to be, not necessarily get the blend that I want. Screw it, I'm just gonna blend out the edges. Take like 2 seconds to blend this out. Next color. Yeah, I should have. This is one of those steps where like taking my time really paid off. Now I'm going into that brown shade. Just gonna blend that back out real quick. And that's it. I'm not gonna go further with it because I know I could take forever to do that. A little bit of black here. Barely gonna blend that out. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and do my winged liner. Oh wait, I've skipped a very, very important step. I didn't even put my lid shade on. I'm like getting way ahead of myself here. Now this should save part of the look. If all goes to plan, this should be able to cover up some of that blending I didn't perfect. Why, this is a necessary experiment in my opinion. Can you cut your makeup time down? All right, I've got to stop. Okay, stopping myself. Now I'm going to do liner. I'm not even gonna blend out the edges of that yet, if at all. This is the part where I could really stand to take my time. Know it, like, people like having lots of lid space, but it's a blessing and a curse because when you have a lot of lid space, especially as you start getting older, they start getting more wrinkly. It makes it hard to blend everything. Hey, that wing looks better than the other one. How the... I'm purposely not using my close-up mirror like I usually do on my eye looks because I know that the imperfections will drive me crazy. Remember the objective. Is it going to look different enough for it to be worth the extra time spent on it? I'm gonna use the same foundation. This time I'm not dotting it on my face though, just putting it straight on the brush. So that's the main difference here. And then I'm just gonna go straight in with my beauty blender. Gonna do some concealer. Same deal. Glam concealer. I need to do a little more on this side because I've got less coverage over here. And so maybe the concealer can kind of make up for that when I don't want to keep building my foundation up. I'm going to use my powder, but I'm not going to spend 4 hours blending it on. I'm just going to put a little on. Gonna stop myself right now. Next, bronzer. All right, that's it. I'm gonna see if I can make up for the not completely blended bronzer with my blush. All right, highlight. I think the one thing I'm noticing so far is the fact that I did not take the time to build up my foundation. That's the main difference here. Now, back to the eyes. Eyeliner, here we go. Okay, this is the part I don't suggest you rush through. You will poke yourself in the eye. Kind of get that smoked out look going. Goal is to keep this under 20 minutes here. Something's not right about my right eye, but that's okay. All right, gonna have to stop there. That's too much time. Spent too much time on it. Lashes are where I'm really gonna hit a snag. It's gonna be really hard for me to curl them. Normally I spend a lot of time on my mascara. So again, this is going to be difficult. Wouldn't have time for 400 coats of mascara. All right, that's good. That's good. That's all I get. Lipstick. This is gonna be the easy. Okay. Done. How did it go? How did it go? I think it went okay. Like, I don't know. I think this eye is just, the wing isn't quite right and there is some blending to be desired, definitely over here on the outer corner. But honestly, like, I don't think it would really make enough of a difference for me to not wear this out. I would wear this out. Like, you can tell, and there's like I've made a lot of mascara mistakes, which I can easily clean up. But on this side, I really took my time and tried to avoid getting mascara everywhere. And I think I ended up getting some on there after the fact. There's like some mascara mistakes over here. But for the most part, I don't really think, like, you can definitely tell which one I spent more time on. But I don't know, I would still wear this, you know? Like, if I needed to do a full face of makeup, I think this is acceptable. The blush isn't as blended. It looks a little patchy over here compared to this one, which is really smooth, same as the highlight. Everything's very smooth over here. This is like, patchy. But I don't think it is, and I don't think I really got enough bronzer up here. I definitely didn't take the time to not kind of ruin the coverage of my foundation right here. And it's definitely more blended right here and just more prominent right here. It just has that like glow to it. Like, my blush and everything's kind of blended into one. Lipstick, I mean, honestly, they look, I mean, it wasn't that hard. I used a bullet lipstick on purpose because I knew I would be going fast. This side has dried down, so it's kind of creasing into my lines, but ignore that. I don't think the lipstick even matters too much. While I would not wear like half and half like this, I think I would wear this half of my face on its own. When I take my time on my base, which some people think, well, that should be the fast thing, And you think it would be, but when I really took time, blended everything out, pushed it into my skin with my beauty blender, it really does make a difference, and really built up the coverage and took time getting the coverage I want, as opposed to right here. This side looks more lifted than this side because I really just did not blend this out very well as compared to on this side. I really paid attention to the outer corner, and my lines here, this side is just really smudged up. That is that experiment done. I learned a lot. I really did, and I enjoyed this. This is really fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and then hit the subscribe button on your way out if you're not subscribed already and want to be. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that too, and I'll see you next time. Later.